Hey everyone, it's Mike. I'm here to do a book review on a book that I've spoken highly of in my last book haul, which I did late last night, early this morning at like 2 a.m. So I'm just going to get into it. This book is Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I just want to start off by saying that I will try to refrain from spoilers. So just do be aware when watching this, though. Um, I will try to avoid them, but I can't promise that anything will slip out. This is just one of those books that I really don't want to ruin anything unless the person has already read it. That way we can all, talk about it and be happy. Um, this is the third adult novel that I've actually read in my whole life, and I know that may sound a bit odd with me being 20, and I focus more on the young adult literature. My whole bookshelf is basically made up of young adult literature, but I figured as of late that I'm going to try to expand my reading knowledge, and so I read Big Little Lies by Leanne Moriarty and The Good Girl. I forgot the author. Um, but out of those three, I would have to say that Gone Girl is truly my favorite, and just in general, as far as books go, it's on my list of favorite books. I'll admit this, that I saw the movie way before I read the book. I've heard about the book, but at the time I was like, I'm not really into adult fiction yet, so I'm just, gonna try to stay away from this. I saw the movie, fell in love with it, and then about a year later, I would say, because the movie, no, not a year later, because the movie just came out on DVD, so that's about 4 months later, I found the book at a used bookstore that I love very much for only $12, and it's hardcover. So hardcover for $12, a hardcover book that would originally cost close to $28. I thought that was a good deal, so I got it. I started reading it even though I had three other books that I was currently reading, and I could not put it down once I started reading it. I was hooked from like the first chapter. I remember it was the night I started reading it. It was about 4 a.m. and I got to part two because this is broken up into three different parts. This book is broken up into three different parts, and I like made myself get to part two before I went to bed because I was uncomfortable with leaving it in the middle of part one because it was so great and the story was building up, and even though I've already seen the movie, I was still so shocked and so just in awe of what happens in this book. I mean, you have great, intense psycho characters. You have a really good and believable plot, by the way. I read a post recently on Tumblr. I'm unsure of the URL, so I'm sorry if I don't credit them, but I read a post on Tumblr recently that this person was talking about Gone Girl and how her family, their family, um, experienced a person like the main character in this book. So with that knowledge, I would very well say that this is a pretty believable story, and I honestly don't doubt that. And I praise and applaud the writer Gillian Flynn for also writing the screenplay for the movie herself, and just everything she did with this book. Um, I mean, even the cover, it's very there's not a lot here, as you can see. There's not a lot on the cover. Just the side over here with the strands of hair sort of going around the spine and then dissolving into the back, which is reviews about this book. But I find it very interesting because the title is called Gone Girl. So the way the hair is moving to me, as you can see, it seems as if someone is running. And if you've read the book, it the the cover I feel does make sense to the story. I like a good cover that actually shows parts of the plot or involves the story in some way. Like, I have not read these books, but the Harry Potter series, I've seen the covers a lot everywhere, and I really like the artistic design of it all. And I do believe J.K. Rowling herself designed the covers for the books, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong on that. But if I'm wrong, then please do correct me below, and I'm sorry if I am wrong. But moving back to Gone Girl, I definitely, from after reading this book, I had definitely gotten into the type of genre that is murder mystery for in adult fiction. Even though Big Little Lies I did read before this, and Good Girl, but they can't really compare to Gone Girl, and I hope to find another book just as amazing as Gone Girl, which I really think will be hard. But there's this other book that came out recently called The Girl on the Train, which I have a sample of it on my Kindle, which I might start soon. So I'm hoping that's good. But let's get back to the review here. There's this whole... Okay, there might be some spoilers coming up, so be prepared. There's this whole thing with the two characters who are husband and wife. Wife goes missing, husband is accused, but the timing of her disappearance is so perfect in a way because they have this whole other storyline where the wife always leaves clues for the husband, in which it's their 5th anniversary and the police officer or detective in charge of the investigation finds clue 1. And that just puts everything. It fucks with the husband, and the police are even more on his trail. And it's just brilliant how everything is sort of separate, but it all ties together in beautiful, beautiful ways. And I like the switching of point of views and sort of a different twist on the murder mystery, and even a different kind of twist, which leads into part 3 of the book. I've never really seen anything like this before, and I thought that was, this whole book and just everything about it was beautifully executed. And this is definitely a book I would reread, and a book that I suggest you read, or if you've already read it, reread, or if you've already reread it, then reread it. You get the point. But yeah, also if you have not seen the movie, do so, because like I said, Gillian Flynn had wrote the screenplay for herself, by herself. No. Yeah, she wrote it herself. And it's a wonderfully adapted movie if you're into that book to movie thing. So yeah, all in all, based off the cover, which I think is actually quite clever, the plot, character, suspense, intensity, plot twist, etc., I would say I give this book 5 stars. And like I said, if you have not read it, then do so. And if you have read it, then comment below. Just, let's start a conversation about it or whatever. Book Tumblr will be listed down below. Book Instagram, etc., etc. Goodreads as well. And yeah, bye.